We are following some breaking news out of Augusta for you right now.
Just into our newsroom, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office needs your help finding a man. He is wanted for questioning in connection to the murder of a 55-year-old woman.
So take a look. 50-year-old Craig Morgan wanted for questioning in reference to the murder of Angela Moore. Authorities say Moore was found beaten Saturday in her home off Curry Street, just a few blocks from Lake Olmsted. She was taken to AU Medical, where she was pronounced dead this morning. If you have any information on where Morgan might be, you're asked to call the deputies at the number right there on the screen.
More breaking news to pass along today. You are looking at the parking lot of the Smart Grocery Store. This is over on Wrightsboro Road, where a man was shot at least twice there. You can still see a very active scene. They have that crime scene taped off with yellow tape, but the Richmond County Sheriff's Office says they responded to a call to the store around 4 o'clock, and they say that's when they found a black male in the parking lot who had been shot at least 2 times. And we're not sure how that victim is doing right now, but we're working to get more details, and we'll update you as soon as we can.
Also this evening, new developments in Lincoln County as the search continues for 2 missing boaters. The new video, authorities say they're now investigating. We are approaching night 3 in the search for these 2 missing men at Clarks Hill Lake. Georgia DNR officially identifying the men today as 37-year-old Edward Kirk and 35-year-old Ian Wilson. The agency's initial report says one man fell in, the other jumped in to help.
But tonight there is some new video police say they are taking into consideration. Here's a look. Swim, get him, and this is just one of the videos circulating online. It captures those pretty chaotic moments right before the men go into the lake, and we did decide to freeze it and not show any footage after they are in the water. But News 12's Will Rio has been talking to law enforcement. He's been talking to family members all day about these videos. So, Will, what do deputies have to say?
Well, I spoke with several different agencies today about the videos that did surface yesterday, and right now they say that they're questioning everyone that was on those boats yesterday about what exactly happened and what went down there that afternoon. And they say that they are in a stage where they're not labeling this as a criminal investigation quite yet. We have confirmed the second missing man is Ian Wilson. That's from family that I spoke to earlier, and as well as DNR. And the family says that they are absolutely devastated by that news right now.
These alleged videos of the incident that happened Sunday show what could be the final moments for best friends 34-year-old Ian Wilson and 37-year-old Edward Kirk. The family reacting to the videos.
We are numb.
Ian's first cousin says the families and mothers won't stop until they know what exactly happened on that boat.
They will get answers. They will get justice for their children.
Investigators say they are currently looking into the videos and are currently questioning everyone that were on the boats. The family says that they just want answers after 3 agonizing days of waiting.
She wait for her boy to come home every second. She's calling his name. And she's waiting for him to walk through the door.
DNR and the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office both say when they arrived on scene Sunday, the boaters gave both agencies conflicting reports about what happened. They were told that they had either fallen off the boat or that they jumped in, according to the agencies. But the families say law enforcement started to look into the videos for foul play. DNR nor the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office can 100% confirm these videos are from Sunday, but family members say the only thing they can do now is sit and wait and hopefully heal with time.
So it's going to be a long journey for the Wilson family and the other family, because we need closure and never know when closure's going to be.
Now, those rescue boats have come in from right behind me. They were out there all day searching that open water. DNR tells me that they will continue their search as soon as possible, starting tomorrow. We'll keep you updated with any other information and updates we get as we move on through the evening. Guys?
Agonizing story with so many questions still, even seeing those videos. Will, thank you. We'll definitely be following this investigation closely.
In just about 10 minutes.
Thank you, Riley. The autopsy results are in now for a man who died in police custody in Aiken County. The coroner's office just ruling that death of 31-year-old Xavier Myers as accidental. Authorities say Myers was arrested back on March the 20th. He was accused of trying to get into cars near Marshall and Ergle Streets in Graniteville. And on the way to the detention center, deputies say Myers started hitting his head on the partition and window. They say he then turned himself upside down in the car while using his legs to kick at the inside of the door window. A few minutes later, authorities say Myers went into some medical crisis. Myers was taken to Aiken Regional shortly after where he was pronounced dead, and the coroner's office says his death was a result of a combination of factors, including difficulty breathing, something they call excited delirium syndrome, and recent cocaine use. Well, now that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is back in the mix, some of our smaller local pharmacies are getting back in the vaccine business.
We have several smaller pharmacies that only carry the Johnson & Johnson shot, and they're opening up their doors for vaccinations again. But just because they can give the shot, will people trust it now? News 12's Brady Troutnell live in the studio with what local health experts have to say.
And Laura, some health experts were pretty concerned when vaccinations were paused. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is the only option to reach many communities, especially rural areas. So for some, there's a sense of relief, and for others, anxiety. It's been a roller coaster couple of weeks for Parks Pharmacy.
We had appointments scheduled that day, so we had to call everybody.
Jonathan Drew says they plan to vaccinate about 40 people the day the CDC paused J&J vaccinations. But instead came phone calls and protocols.
We had to separate all those doses. We keep those doses separate anyway, so we had to mark them for quarantine, put them in a separate space.
The green light is back on, and appointments are already scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday.
I think the demand will be a little bit less because so many more people are already vaccinated anyway.
There has always been a group of folks who really want Johnson & Johnson.
Dr. Stephen Goggins, director of our district health department, says they're planning a Johnson & Johnson vaccination day for this Saturday. His team is busy prepping new waivers and forms.
It does give information about what, as you said, the low risk, but risk of some of these types of costs.
Dr. Goggins says he's relieved the vaccine is available again. It's key to meeting the needs in rural areas.
A mobile operation, you have to take a team out to a place. Now with Johnson & Johnson, you can make one trip and get the folks there fully vaccinated.
And as vaccine hesitancy remains an issue, some see it as hope back on the market. And if you want to sign up for the Johnson & Johnson Vaccination Day, you can sign up on the DPH website or call their vaccine hotline. There's still appointments available at their Craig Houghton Elementary location. They plan to give around 300 shots.
Brady, thanks a lot. Starting tomorrow, those of you in South Augusta have another chance when it comes to getting a vaccine. A pop-up clinic set to open at Diamond Lakes Regional Park in Hephzibah. It's all part of AU's efforts to get the vaccine to a lot of people who might not have the means to get out and get them. To sign up for a shot tomorrow, head to augustahealth.org. If you're on the South Carolina side, Aiken Regional also holding a clinic tomorrow. That's at the USC Aiken Student Activity Center from 8 until 4. There are no scheduled appointments. We're told 700 doses are available on a first-come, first-served basis.
Augusta leaders are moving forward with using CARES Act funds to help fight homelessness. A little earlier today, a committee passed a request to fund 3 different nonprofits: the Salvation Army, the Richmond County Health Department, and the McKee Foundation. Now, that money will help with things like emergency shelter, preventing homelessness altogether, and rapid rehousing. The full commission will vote on this next week. We are less than an hour from me. Now, if you haven't voted, but you do still want to, polling locations are open until 7. So as long as you're in line by 7, you'll be able to vote.
And the clock is ticking for companies that handle military housing to make good on their promise to lawmakers and on their promise to our men and women in uniform.
It is an update to the ITeam investigation we first brought you last week. Tonight, our Meredith Anderson gets some answers on when these companies will finally get their Bill of Rights right.
5 requirements down, 15 rather, just 3 to go. And the company in charge of military housing at Fort Gordon tells the ITeam it should be finished soon.
They're private companies acting as landlords for the military. Balfour Beatty happens to be Fort Gordon's landlord. And when the ITeam started uncovering problems with Balfour Beatty homes, some of the same problems were popping up with other military landlords too. Congress got involved and the Tenant Bill of Rights was born. It was missing several requirements when it went into effect last spring. Later that summer, Colonel Shaw Pick took over as Fort Gordon's garrison commander.
Very early in my tenure was we've got to get right with the residents that are in the houses we have now, and we got to earn their trust. And in some cases, we've got to win it back.
Fast forward 10 months, and the landlords, 14 private companies in all, still haven't met 3 of Congress's demands. A standard lease all companies or landlords use, a standard plan all companies use to handle disputes, and 7 years of maintenance records.
They sound like relatively simple things, but is it more complicated in having to work with other private companies?
Yeah, there's been a bit of that. I mean, you've heard the adage, just trying to herd cats in some cases. So there's a lot of project owners in the industry.
Rick Taylor is the man in charge of all of Balfour Beatty's military homes. He was in Pennsylvania when he sat down with the ITeam.
It's interesting you say it's been like herding cats, because I've had some people say, a universal lease, how hard can that be?
Prior to this, our leases were typically about 14, 15 pages. The outcome of this universal lease is pushing that page count to about 52 to 54 pages. So it's going to be far more complex.
That's because landlord-tenant laws are different from state to state, and a one-size-fits-all lease has to follow all of them. Taylor says that's not easy, but they're on track to have everything done by June 1st. And you can bet the ITeam will be watching.
This summer, crews are set to break ground on 76 new homes. Here is what those 2-story complexes look like. Each one has 4 bedrooms. Now, there are also single-story versions that are a lot like this. They're just wheelchair accessible, fully ADA compliant. We've got the floor plans on our website and app if you'd like to check them out. And there are also some renovations Meredith told us about, plans for existing homes where they're basically gutting them, starting from scratch. So we've got the floor plans for those 2 on our website and our Wrdw app. Riley?
We are expecting nice weather to continue the next couple of days, but what's next?
Also ahead, this kid is always on the move, running for his heroes. We're catching up with him next.
And plans for more art are on hold in Augusta right now. We find out why in just 60 seconds.
Weekends 24/7.
We are constantly seeing new art come to our city, but tonight there are a couple of art projects, big ones, that are on hold in Augusta.
But the sculpture trail downtown and the Gateway project are on pause. The city leaders work out the financials on all of those. But News 12's Kennedy Harris is live from downtown for us. Kennedy, what do city leaders say put the brakes on all of this?
Yeah, Laura, one of the main things that is unique about Augusta is public art displays, like this mural created by a local artist behind me. And Augusta was on track to continue its art expansion project, but city leaders don't want to move forward until old projects are off the ground.
I feel like
For local artist and graphic designer Jason Craig, Augusta's art is part of what makes it home.
I think it's one of the things that breathes life into an area.
He finished this Respect mural just before lockdown in March of 2020. But creating art in the middle of a pandemic is a new struggle.
Without having public gatherings, with everything being closed, it just made it tough. And a lot of us depend on art shows, art sales, and those just vanished.
Augusta's art master plan has also been on hold, but not just because of the pandemic. In SPLOST 7, the city allocated $1 million toward a gateway sculpture project in collaboration with the Greater Augusta Arts Council. Even though that was in 2015, the project still hasn't left the ground.
There'd be a large welcome for people to see as they enter our city.
Back in 2019, 2 designs for the sculptures were shot down when commission voted to reset the process. Since then, the Greater Augusta Arts Council held community input meetings and formed 2 new sculpture themes. But the city's progress stopped. Now leaders want to get it going again.
As far as the Arts Council goes, we're ready. We're working. We have no hesitation in doing outdoor art like this.
City leaders also have to decide whether or not to allocate $100,000 more to continue the new sculpture trail. And the Augusta Arts Council will meet with the city administrator tomorrow to go over the details of the Gateway project and decide on the next steps to selecting new artists.
You know, it has been fun seeing more artwork pop up downtown. Kennedy, thanks for explaining all that to us. And Durant says she would like to see the Gateway sculptures in place by early or mid-2022. The Greater Augusta Arts Council will return to city leaders with an update on the Gateway project, then decide on whether to continue funding for the sculpture trail.
So you need a mural for me. I hadn't seen that one
Yeah, I
until
hadn't
her live
seen
shot.
that either.
Looks good. All right, let's have a look out.
Feeling much more seasonal as well.
Riley, thanks. There is a 12-year-old boy making a name for himself by running a mile for each and every fallen officer and first responder in the nation.
Yeah, this is Zechariah Cartledge. He's the founder of his nonprofit Running for Heroes. We've told you about him before, but he was actually in town yesterday at the River Golf Club for the annual Support One golf tournament.
News 12's Tarisha Woodard got to catch up with Zechariah as he got a big token of appreciation.
888 miles. All I really did was pick up a flag and started running. From Tennessee to North Carolina to right here in the CSRA.
I'm very glad to be out here.
12-year-old Zachariah Carla says there's no better feeling than doing what he loves for the people he loves. Running an extra mile for the nearly 85 fallen officers right here in the CSRA.
First responders are amazing people, and I really wanted to help them out. So I started doing something that I love, which is running to help people that I love, which are first responders.
A little child shall lead them, right? So I mean, what this young man is doing, it's so simple. He figured out a way as a 12-year-old to be able to bring the country together.
Michael Ford is the co-founder for Support One, and he says their endeavors, along with Zachariah's mission, all lines up. So he wanted to find a way to say thank you.
He thinks he's here to do his run and to just meet and greet, but we do have a little surprise for him.
Along with honoring him as a special guest for their 10th annual Support One golf tournament, they also surprised him with a $5,000 check for his dedication and support. I really appreciate that. This is incredible. This is going to help so much. Giving Zachariah the opportunity to make an even bigger impact, as well as a memory he'll keep with him for the long run. Tarisha Woodard on your side.
Just amazing. We've been watching him do this for years now. He's always on the news wherever he runs. But Zechariah has been running for first responders for more than 2 years. He ran for our own Richmond County investigator, Cecil Ridley, when he died back in November of 2019.
Yeah, so much dedication. And he says he does hope to pass this tradition down to another young runner when he turns 18, so the impact continues. And, of course, the conversation, remembering these officers who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Well, it is the end of an era at USC Aiken, plus 3 in a row for the Lady Jags. We'll hear from the back-to-back Peach Belt champions next in sports.
The Live Eye Camera Network is brought to you by Mountaineer Pest Services. On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
Over the weekend, the Augusta Jags earned their 3rd consecutive Peach Belt championship on the volleyball court. Very impressive for them, and it's the highest honor they'll take home this season. It was decided last summer that there would be no fall championships this year, even with fall sports being played in the spring for Division II sports. Tuesday's practice actually marked the last one for the Jags this spring. While the Jags will have a number of seniors playing a 5th season come the fall, this team will definitely be among the favorites to win a 4th championship in a row. Head coach Sharon Quarles says it's disappointing not to have the full tournament, but is still very happy with the result.
Repeat, go Jags at AU volleyball. That's a 3-month turnaround. I think, the drop-off is not going to be tremendous because before you know it, it's going to be here again.
Augusta will have 6 of 7 seniors returning to the team next season. All that experience will be huge, as now the goal is to have 4 consecutive Peach Belt titles and to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. USC Aiken fans, if you're not already at Roberta